If you live in Canada, there's a good chance you've met one. A taxi driver or other worker who is actually trained as a doctor, nurse, or engineer.
Engineer. I was an engineer back then.
The process they go through to work as professionals in Canada takes time. Sometimes it's years before immigrants work in their field again.
They look at my degree and they said 2.5 years, like a 5 semester.
That's something the federal government wants to change. The Ministry of Employment and Social Development says it's moving to help immigrants get jobs in their field faster. The plan? Get a panel of experts to recommend how to integrate and certify newcomers more quickly. The ministry declined our interview request, but issued a press release. It says the government will aim to develop new and innovative approaches to improve the hiring and integration of newcomers into the workforce. While speed's something the government is looking to address, some say the road to registration is long for a reason. Julie Taub is an immigration lawyer in Ottawa. Taub says focusing on speed is going a step in the wrong direction. It's a time-consuming process, she says, because of Canada's rigorous standards in healthcare.
Canada has one of the highest standards in the world for medicine, and I would like to be assured that any foreign-trained doctors have met our standards through these exams and additional training.
Those high standards for doctors include eligible to work in Canada, passing the Medical Council of Canada examinations, proof of English or French, and completion of 1 year of postgraduate training in Canada. Each of those requirements is on top of their foreign professional degree.
In that 2-week period, you worked 8 hours and 40
The long road may prove too hard for some. The 2006 census says only about half of foreign-trained physicians work in their field in Canada. That compares to 9 out of 10 for Canadian-trained doctors. It's something that Gay Moffat often sees as a member of advocacy group Hire Immigrants Ottawa and in her job at GEM Healthcare. The company employs immigrants in a related field while they work toward getting accredited in Canada. She says with programs like Express Entry to help skilled immigrants come to Canada faster, getting their credentials here should speed up as well.
They make high points on their immigration papers because they come with these credentials, and so they get processed faster with the government, and then they get here and then they're getting these roadblocks that they don't have the license to practice. They need to do X, they need to do Y. So I'm sure it's very frustrating.
I wrote my exam 2013, but I was only able to get my license this January.
Ulushola Shitu felt that frustration firsthand. She trained for 6 years to become a nurse in Nigeria and has 2 decades of experience. She passed her exams for nursing in Canada, but had to wait 2 more years before getting her license. That's because the College of Nurses said she needed to improve her English.
To my surprise, I wrote my exam in English, but still they are not convinced. So they asked me to come over to Canada to either go back to school or either do some volunteering program. So I've chosen the volunteering.
Taub says the clients she works with are often frustrated with the long process as well. But she says those high standards are necessary.
Well, I've had doctors who can't pass the exams. So that is not, shouldn't be a concern to anybody but them, because if they can't meet our standards, well, then we're not going to lower our standards to accommodate them.
Even if the government is concerned, making change is not so easy. That's because accreditation is handled by self-regulating groups in each province. The College of Nurses of Ontario is responsible for registering all nurses in this province, including those with foreign credentials. The college was unavailable for comment by phone, but replied in an email, "Our job is to ensure all nurses are able to demonstrate the same skills, knowledge, and judgment expected of graduates from Ontario nursing programs." Taub says whatever recommendations on accreditation the panel comes up with, implementing them is out of the government's hands.
This federal panel does not have an enforcement role. The professional organizations are pretty independent and self-governing.
The panel is expected to publish its recommendations early this spring. As for any actual changes to the accreditation process, it's up to the colleges to decide. Micki Cowan, CJTV News, Ottawa.